Hi, my name is Mary Melorano. I'm a volunteer for the Business Advocacy Committee for the Campbell County Chamber of Commerce. Today I'm visiting with Commissioner Del Shelstad. He is running for re-election for County Commissioner. Thank you for joining us today, Commissioner
Absolutely,
Shelstad.
my pleasure.
So we have a few questions for you that I'm going to ask. The first one is, what do you feel are the key responsibilities of this position?
So I think number one is to be a public servant for the people. I think too often it's just a campaign cliche to say that. I think you need to be serious about that. Number two, when you become a commissioner, you take an oath, and the oath is to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Wyoming, and I think you need to be true to that. And number three, I think just overall manage the affairs of the county. Probably the single biggest thing that we do every year is the budget, and it's very involved. We talk to, like for example, all of our 1% agencies come in and present to us what they want funding for. Most of the times it's pretty redundant every year. And then our own county agencies do the same thing. If there's any changes in their budget that they want or specific needs that they have, they'll present those to us. And so that's a huge part of our responsibility. And talking about the county agencies, it's not only just helping them budget, but it's also helping them manage their agencies from a standpoint of support. We try not to micromanage those agencies. We have some wonderful directors in the county. It's people really need to understand we have some really great employees, and we need to let them do their job, but we need to be there in a position of support for them. And then I guess lastly I would say is just getting out and talking to the people. It's really hard to represent the people of the county when you don't get out and talk to them. Nowadays with social media, it becomes a platform for you to see kind of what the heartbeat of the community is and what the needs of the community are and what issues are important to them. And it's important for us to, whatever way we can, to help them with those needs and support them.
Great, wonderful. You touched briefly on penny power or the optional 1% sales tax. So are you in favor of the optional 1% sales tax, and why or why not?
I absolutely am in favor of it. I've been outspoken in this community about that. I think the 1% tax has done so many good things in our community. It's helped so many people. And to be real honest with you, that's one of the things we're proud of in Campbell County is people like to live here because we've created such great things. And the 1% has been the heartbeat of that, really. So every 4 years when it's voted in, or it's voted on by the people, there's been, at least the last 2 times I know, there's been a survey done, and it's been done by the city, the county, and the town of Wright. And it's really to just try to take a snapshot of what people want us to use that money for. And top 3 things this year, or a year ago when it was passed, was number 1 was county roads and maintenance. Number 2 was emergency services, which I think include, from a county level, it would include the fire department, the sheriff's department, and emergency management.
Makes sense, yeah.
And then I think there was 13 categories altogether, but those were the top 3. And I really think we need to focus on what the people want their tax dollars to be spent on. It's their money. We're there to represent them, and we need to, and I really like the survey. I would rather, we had 2,500 responses, I think. It would be better if there was 25,000. But even though it's just 10%, it still gives you a pretty good snapshot of what the community wants to spend that money on. So.
No, that's great. What would you do to improve the overall business climate in the county?
So is that just the county or the state as well?
Well, so if city, county, and state.
So let's start with the state level. I think, number 1, Wyoming is a great place to have a business right now. Why? Number 1 is because our tax structure is low. That's really important when you're trying to bring new businesses in and support the businesses that are already here. Number 2, I think, would be to create a climate where and I don't mean that as a pun, but to create a business climate to where the regulations are less. I've seen it around our state. I've seen it with my own businesses that when the federal government or the state government puts a regulation on a business, especially big industry like coal and oil and gas and manufacturing, that regulation sometimes hurts them. And in a lot of cases around our state keeps people from wanting to move their businesses in here. So from a state level, I think that's important. On a county level, I think, number one, I'm in favor of putting some dollars, some tax dollars towards a local business and local business entrepreneurs. I know there's a lot of talk about bringing in businesses from outside to our community and create jobs. I think we can do a lot of that with local businesses that are here, helping them grow and creating a situation that we have a lot of really smart people in Campbell County. And there's some entrepreneurs here that could do great things. I've heard it said, and I think this is true, we're only actually about one invention away from being a boomtown again.
Oh, wow.
And with the ice pick facility that's about to be built with federal dollars, that's a climate where that it's going to be a place where people can come in and do research to find out new uses for coal. Coal is on such a decline right now that really it would really be nice to know new things that we could do. And I know a little bit's been done with ITC and with Atlas Carbon here, but really it's such minute parts, really small amount of coal that they're using. And I agree, we're one invention away from being a boomtown again. So
We can hope soon.
yes, absolutely.
Would you support the mill levy in Campbell County to the maximum? And if not, how would you address the budget shortfalls?
I would not support the mill levy to be at a maximum right now. I think it's really bad timing. In the future, who knows? But I think right now it's just bad timing. Our people and our businesses in Gillette are taxed enough. And I just think, I'll be real honest with you, it's a great ballot issue. If we really think we want to do that, let's put it on the ballot and let's let the people of this community decide. And that's a classic example of what a ballot vote would be for a tax. But I do think right now we need to keep it where it is. We are, I believe, we're one of two counties in the state that are not maximum 12%. I think we should be proud of that. How would I address shortcomings? I guess to me, it's really a matter of economics. And what I mean by that is whatever your tax revenue is that you bring in is what you spend. So we will have to prioritize. In this next couple of years, and this election is important because the next couple of years is going to be really tough on a county commissioner to try to figure out what those dollars get spent on. And really what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go back and we're going to have to prioritize what we think we need. Infrastructure would be number one. Emergency services is part of that, in my opinion. And then just go down the list and start making a priority schedule of what those dollars need to be spent on. And I think at the end of the day, that's what's going to make us win or lose.
Great. So you have 1 minute to discuss anything that you didn't touch in the 4 questions that we had asked previously. So if there's anything you would like to say, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think mainly my biggest fear is that we have government officials that are not about the people. And I've seen it even in this community where when you're a public servant, you're exactly that. And you know, I spend a lot of time. Take a lot of pride in the fact that I talk to people, and I want to know what issues are important to them, and what we can do as a county to help them. And to be real honest with you, so I'm a 3rd generation native of Gillette. I've seen this community go through a lot of changes, and I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of our community for that because it's been, you know, I can remember when the last thing leaving towards Douglas was a museum, and it was called Waltner Wonder Museum.
Oh, wow.
And there was a trailer court right behind it. I lived right up the road on Country Club Road. And to see that the steps that this community's taken since I was a kid is just amazing. I feel like my dad's speaking when I talk about that, because you hear those stories when you're young of your parents, but I'm that guy now. I see that, and I think this is a community that almost everybody that lives here will agree, one, we're a really good community to raise a family in. That's pretty hard to achieve if you look at America as a whole. Number two, it's a place that is tightly knit, and I think that's important. And I expect for anybody that's in a leadership role as an elected official to keep that going, and to try to keep that cohesion that we have as a community.
Nope, that's great. We appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in
Thank
today,
you
Del.
very much.